My wife and I gave each other hall passes for our 10-year anniversary. Needless to say, things have gone bad. Part 1. I, Liam, 35M, have been married to my wife Jennifer, 35F, for the last 11 years. We met at the tail end of college and never looked back. We dated for a year, had a 4-week engagement, and got married. Our marriage has been pretty spectacular. It's not perfect. No one's is. We have our arguments and heated moments, but we're better at this marriage thing after 12 years together than we ever have been. Over the years, we've gone on a lot of adventures and built up quite a bit of savings. Just before our 10th anniversary, we discussed having kids. We both agreed that one child would be enough and decided to have one more child-free year. During this year, we planned to check off many bucket list items. We went skydiving, took our dream vacation to Italy, enjoyed beach trips, and visited a few amusement parks. We also spent time with friends and reconnected with old ones. We joked that this year was our last year of freedom before having kids. On our 10th anniversary, we had a big day of activities planned. It culminated in a fancy dinner and a stay at a nearby luxury hotel. During dinner, Jennifer started asking me questions about our years together, and we had a deep conversation about our favorite memories. Then, Jennifer asked me, what's something you miss about being single? I replied, don't get mad at me, but one-night stands. She laughed, which made me feel better, and said, yeah, I kind of do too. This led to a discussion about what we liked about one-night stands and reminiscing about our first night together. Our relationship started as a post-party hookup. That's when I suggested, well, we've got all these plans for this year coming up. Do you want to add a one-night hall pass to the list? Jennifer looked intrigued. She said, maybe. You don't think that's too much? We've never done anything like that. I said, I don't think so. We can talk about it more this week and then decide. She agreed, and we enjoyed the rest of our night. We talked more about the hall pass idea later in the week and ultimately decided to go for it. We had 1 year to use it, as we had agreed that on our 11th anniversary, Jennifer would go off birth control. We set some ground rules. It was to be a one-night only pass with someone not in our lives, be safe and smart, and must tell the other when using the pass. It could be a chance meeting, but a text heads up at minimum was a must. Over the year, we went on all the adventures we had planned. I got on the apps and eventually met an attractive 30-year-old woman. Her and her husband were opening their marriage, and she thought a one-nighter would help her figure things out. I was the perfect candidate since I was only offering one night. We met, had a fun and exciting night, and I told Jennifer ahead of time. She was excited for me, and when I got back the next day, she reclaimed me. I figured it wouldn't be long before she used her hall pass, but I was wrong. Over the year, I asked Jennifer if she had any luck finding someone. She said, no one has stood out for me. The profiles I see are just not appealing. Maybe it's me. We talked, and she mentioned she was looking for a younger guy, around 25. She found many single guys, but they always came off as arrogant or immature. It wasn't until we were almost 11 months in that she said she was ready to use her hall pass. I had started feeling guilty about using mine, thinking she might have reconsidered. She told me it was a special situation and wanted to ensure it was still within our rules. She explained that for the last 3 months, there had been a 23-year-old intern, Wes, in another department at her company. They interacted some, but only about work, as their departments often had to collaborate. She had been attracted to him, especially after realizing he wasn't an idiot. But new coworkers were a bad choice. However, Wes had put in notice that he would be ending his internship as he had been hired for a full-time position in the same field at another company. Their office was across the city, so it would be unlikely for them to bump into each other. She wanted to know if this was out of our lives enough. I told her it sounded fine to me, just to be safe and smart. She agreed not to proposition him until after his last day. A week later, as Wes was leaving and saying his goodbyes, Jennifer offered to walk him out. At his car, she propositioned him for a night of fun, explaining her hall pass. He was interested, but unsure, not wanting to get involved in a marriage. She put me on a FaceTime call, and I confirmed it was real. He was excited at that point. They went to a hotel, and she came back the next morning. I reclaimed her. The next few weeks flew by, and our 11th anniversary arrived. Jennifer stopped her birth control. About 2 weeks later, Jennifer was pregnant, which seemed quick. We booked an appointment and learned she was actually about 7 weeks along. This lined up perfectly with her hall pass use. But we had also been having sex often around that time, including the next day. Now I have no idea what to do. She's pregnant, and there is a chance it's not mine. I'm so stressed out. Jennifer said she needed to go for a walk to clear her mind. I'm just sitting here, stewing, trying to figure out what I should do while waiting for her to come back. This is a total mess. The baby is here. I'll start by filling you in on all that happened with my wife, Jennifer, and me, Liam. After my last post, I was waiting for Jennifer to come back from her walk. When she returned, we had a long talk. I asked her if she used a condom with Wes, and she said, "No, that didn't even cross my mind." I was noticeably shocked by that revelation and snapped, "What happened to safe and smart?" Jennifer responded, "Is that what you meant by that?" "I thought you just meant to make sure they're not a psycho. I was on the pill. I don't know why you're snapping at me. You know I've never made anyone use a condom before. Why would I think to do that now?" I replied, "Really, Jennifer? I don't know. Maybe because you're not 21 anymore, and I thought you'd want to avoid getting an STD." Jennifer started to tear up. "I didn't want anything like this to happen. I'm sorry, I really just didn't think about it. Did you use condoms during your pass?" "Yes," I said. "All 3 times. Better safe than sorry." I paused. "I'm going to ask some things I never planned on asking. How many times did you two—" She looked up, thinking. 5. God damn. I followed up. "So he finished in you 5 times?" She said, "No, just twice." I gave her a blank stare, and she added, "I told him the same thing I always tell you, and everyone before you." I said, matter-of-factly, "You can finish wherever you want." "Of course you did." At this point, she started to cry. "What do you want to do?" I responded, "I don't want to do anything right now. We should look into paternity tests just so we know." A couple of weeks later, we had a follow-up. Jennifer asked about the birth control failing, and the doctor asked several questions. We figured out that the prescription athlete's foot medication she had been on might make birth control less effective, though that is rare. Not rare enough, apparently. Afterwards, I asked if the pharmacist said anything when she picked up the prescription, and she said, "I don't know, I wasn't really listening." I'm not surprised by this. I found the bottle, and yes, it had a birth control warning on it. I was about to ask about paternity tests when Jennifer cued me not to. When we left, I asked her why, and she said, "I don't want to spoil my pregnancy. It's probably yours. We had sex twice as many times around then. But if we get the test and it's not yours..." She teared up a little. "Well, this is the only time I'm going to be pregnant. I'd rather believe I'm carrying your child than someone else's. I don't want to give that up. We've agreed we're keeping this baby, and you've told me you don't want to separate. Can we just get the test done when the baby's here?" I agreed. I wanted her to enjoy her only pregnancy. We did all the normal things over the remaining months, got all the stuff for the nursery, the car essentials, and stocked up on diapers. We made plans, got a go bag ready, and I baby-proofed the house the best I could. Our parents were extremely excited, and they threw us a baby shower. The pregnancy was relatively smooth, and after 39 weeks, our beautiful baby girl, Willow, was born. While we were in the hospital, Jennifer asked me if I'd like to get that paternity test while we were still there. I told her, "No, I don't care anymore. This perfect girl is mine. I don't need a test to tell me that. I'm her dad, and she's my girl." Jennifer was so happy. I think it was what she always wanted to hear. We're going to take this baby home tomorrow and just enjoy every moment we have ahead of us. Besides, the likelihood this ever comes up again is pretty slim. 22 years ago, I, Liam 58M, posted about issues surrounding my wife Jennifer's 58F pregnancy. To summarize, we gave each other hall passes. Jennifer used hers and became pregnant while also being with me around that time. Her birth control failed and she got pregnant. We were torn about what to do, but we always intended to keep the baby. Knowing it was possibly another man's child caused us quite a bit of heartache. Ultimately, we decided not to get a paternity test and just raise our daughter together. Our daughter, Willow, 22F, is now a senior in college. She always comes home on extended breaks and over the summer, which is easy because her university is only about an hour away. It's the same one we graduated from. She is a fantastic young woman with a bright future. This year, she asked if she could bring her boyfriend, Woody, 20M, of the last 9 months home with her. We agreed. The night they got home, we had a big dinner made for them. It was going along nicely, and we were getting to know Woody. He seemed like a really good kid. He was from Oregon, and his grandparents lived near the university, as his parents were originally from here. He came to college here because it's where his dad went and to be around his grandparents. Woody was asking us questions too, and it was good until he asked my wife where she worked and what she did. When she told him, he said, "Oh, cool, that's what my dad does." Woody then proceeded to tell her that his dad actually interned at my wife's company before getting a job at their rival. Then he got promoted and moved to Oregon. I watched as my wife became noticeably alert during this conversation, and then it hit me like a truck. I luckily did not fall over or blurt anything out. My wife then asked, "Woody, is that a nickname or were you named after the actor?" He chuckled. "Sort of, it's my last name, Woodson. My first name is actually Josh, but my friends have called me Woody since middle school because, when you're 12, that's hilarious. I just embraced it." My wife started to sweat. "And can I ask, what was your dad's name? Maybe I remember him." Woody replied, "Wesley Woodson. Most people call him Wes, though." I wanted to pass out, but we played it cool. Willow asked if something was wrong, but we said no and changed the subject. They wanted to play Mario Party 30 with us, so we did. Afterward, they headed off to Willow's room, and we sprinted into ours. "What in the world?" I exclaimed. Jennifer said, I know. What are the odds of that? Of all the people in the world she could meet and fall for, oh my God, she might be dating her brother." I refused to pull my head from the sand. "Are you sure? They might not be doing that yet." My wife looked at me. "Seriously? She tells me everything. I normally shield you from this because you can't handle it, but we're going to have to grow up to get through this. She's just like we were in college. They've been together since the first date and he's far from her first. I need you to quickly come to terms with this." I actively pretended I didn't hear anything she said. My head is going back in the sand when this is over. We realized we couldn't just demand she break up with him. She would absolutely question that. Also, we know she really likes him, maybe is in love with him. She's getting towards the end of college, and that's when life decisions get made. We can't just sit here and hope the relationship runs its course. Now, we have to make decisions. We realized we need to get that paternity test. This will also raise questions, so we have to talk to Willow and tell her the reality of the situation because she is a strong-willed person and is not going to just go along with anything without answers. We talked her into sending Woody on to his grandparents a half day early. It was an awkward day and a half for us, but we did our best to not let them notice. Then we told her the whole deal, as discreetly and non-traumatizing as possible, about the hall passes and Wes, and our decision to not get a paternity test. Willow looked like she wanted to throw up. She was so mad and disgusted. I can't blame her. All in one moment, she found out she may not know her biological father, but also that she may be in a relationship with her half-brother. We got the test done, and are now waiting the 5 or so days to get the results back. Willow is faking an illness to avoid visiting Woody and keeping him from coming back here. They are still talking, but she seems sad, and her somber tone is helping with the sick ruse. She is just hoping that the test comes back with me as her father. I'll update when the results arrive and everything is settled.